What's up YouTube? This is my Red Eyes deck profile. Apologies, I'm a bit sick for the last week now and it's just really stuffing up my voice. I'll try to go through this as fast as possible because all my other commentary videos just been way too long, and yeah, I just got to go for it. Got 2 cards of Redstone and 2 Dragon Shrines, and these are the cards we use to pitch cards from our deck to the grave. For cards of the Redstone, got to pitch a Red Eyes from our hand to the grave, draw 2 cards, so it's a draw power, and then you can send an additional Red Eyes from your deck to the grave. With Dragon Shrine, you just pitch 1 dragon from your deck to the grave, and if that was a normal monster first, you can send an additional dragon type monster to the grave. What I like to do is send a Red Eyes and then a Keeper of the Shrine. So, and the Keeper of the Shrine has a grave effect, so it's really good. Or if you have a Return of the Dragon Lords in your opening hand with Dragon Shrine, you can send a Red Eyes and then send a Divine Dragon Lord Falgrim, which you can summon on your first turn, and it'll be protected by this card's effect. Next we got our other draw power cards, which is 6 of them. 3 hand destructions, 3 into the voids. Hand destruction is just pitch 2 cards from your hand to the grave and draw 2, and into the void you got to have at least 3 cards in your hand, and it just allows you to draw 1 card. And I chose these cards because a lot of times, I shouldn't say a lot of times, but there's certain times that you can get cloggy hands, and this is just a way to deal with them and also allow you to draw and thin out your deck. With Into the Void, you just got to remember that whatever's left in your hand at the end of your phase, once you play this card, the whole hand's going to get pitched to the grave. So you got to ensure that when you play this card, if there's spells or the Solemn Warning in your hand that you really want to keep, you gotta make sure you set them first. Or if you had your level 4s or your level 1s, you gotta make sure you play them first before ending your turn. Play 1 for 1. This is just to pitch more cards from our hand. Just pitch 1 card from our hand to special summon a level 1 monster. But I mainly use it for our Glow Up Bowl, which I'll talk about it soon. Got 1 Raigeki, 1 Red Eyes Fusion. This is for our boss monster here, the Archfiend Black Soul Dragon. Once you play this card, you can't special summon for the rest of the turn, and if you already special summon before playing this card, you can't activate this card. And you can only activate this card if Summon Skull is in your hand or it's still in your deck. If it's in your grave, can't activate. What it does is it fuses 1 Summon Skull from your hand or deck with Red Eyes, and then I should say these 3 Red Eyes here, and then it brings out your Archfiend Black Skull Dragon. Got 3 Return of the Dragon Lords. This is our monster reborn for our level 7 or 8s dragon monsters, and if any of our dragons were to be destroyed by card effects or battle, we can banish this card instead, so it's good protection for our dragons. Got 1 Claw of the Homos, which we use for our Red Eyes Black Dragon Sword Fusion monster. One thing to remember about this card is before you play it, you got to make sure you have 1 face up monster and a dragon monster, an additional dragon monster on the field, face up or face down, or in your hand. If you activate this card and you don't have any face up monsters, this fusion card here is going to equip to your opponent's face up monster. Now if there's no face up monsters, then this card just becomes a 2400 beater. But that's something to remember when you play this card. If you control, so you gotta have 1 face up monster and control a dragon monster, or have a dragon monster in your hand, and you pitch that dragon monster to special summon the fusion monster. Next we got 2 Twin Twisters for back row, then our Solemn Warning. And that wraps up our spell and traps. For our monsters, we got 3 Red Eyes Black Dragons, you gotta have them. 1 Summon Skull, 1 Arc Brave, 3 Black Metal Dragons. These are the searches for our Red Eye cards, like our Red Eyes, our Darkness Metal, Retro, our Black Flare, our black stone, and our fusion card. And you can it has another effect which can be activated by your hand. If you control a red eyes monster, you can activate this card from your hand to become an equipped card, and that monster gains 600 attack. Got one Divine Dragon Lord Falgren, one Glow Up Bulb, this is the essential card for our synchro plays. When it's sent to the graveyard, you can mill the top card from your deck to the grave and special summon it back to extend your synchro plays. Got two Keyboard of the Shrines. This card is treated as two tributes if you're going to tribute summon for Red Eyes or Archbrave or Divine Dragon Lord Falgren. And when any of your dragon monsters, and I'm pretty sure it's your opponents as well, if they're sent from the field to the grave and this card is in your hand or grave, this card gets special summoned to the field. And if the monster that left the field to the grave was a normal monster, you can add that normal monster from the grave to your hand. So that's a really good. That effect works good if you had a card or red stone, which will give you back a red eyes, and then you can just go into this card to extend the play. Next we run two red eyes black flared dragons. This card's a beast. It's always treated as a normal monster on the field or graveyard, but you can if you special summon this card, you can activate its effect, which makes it an effect monster. But once you activate that effect, you can't do any more normal summons that turn. And if you already normal summon that turn before you activated this effect, then you have to wait till the next turn. Well, when it's an effect monster, and if this card was involved in damage calculation, at the end of your battle phase, you can activate its effect and your opponent takes 2,400 damage, which is why this card's a beast. We run one Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon, 2,800 attack, and all it takes for it to get on the field is to banish one dragon monster, which can be, a card like Black Metal or Black Stone. And what this card does is, once per turn, it can special summon any of your dragons from your hand or the grave. So it's just another way to bring your dragons back. Got two Red Eyes Retro Dragons, your level 4s, 3 Blackstone Legends, level 1s. This card, once you normal summon it, you can tribute the card, send it to the grave, and special summon one Red Eyes from your deck to the field. And if you got a Red Eyes in your grave and this card in your grave, you can activate its effect, shuffle back the Red Eyes from your graveyard to your deck, and then add this to your hand. And you can only use you can only use one of its effects per turn. So that's something to remember. So that's our main deck. For our Archfiend Black Skull Dragon, is made through our Red Eyes Fusion card, and it's 3,200 attack. This beast, you can make it stronger by equipping this card to it or your Black Metal Dragon. And once it enters the damage step, your opponent can't activate any cards. That spell, trap, so if they got back row, if it's a mirror force, they can't activate it. If they have a monster that's set that has a flip effect, that can't be activated. Any kind of effect that your opponent has can't be activated. And once it attacks, it just has the same effect as the Red Eyes Black Flare Dragon, but I should say similar, but it's basically the same. But you gotta make sure you got a Red Eyes in the grave, which you will have if you use the Red Eyes Fusion. So once this attacks, once you end the battle phase, it will ask you to activate the effect. You click yes. You shuffle back one Red Eyes from your grave back into your deck, and your opponent takes 2,400 damage. This card you make from our Claw of Hermos, this card here, and you equip this to one of your face-up monsters, and that monster that this card is equipped to gains 1,000 attack, and then additional 500 attack and defense for each dragon that you control or in both players' graveyards. So this card can make your monsters easily get up to, you know, the 6,000 attack, 7,000 attack, 10,000 attack, 12,000 attack, and just especially late game, they can really boost your monster to a really high attack. One time I got to 20,000. Next we got our synchros. Got 2 bursts, 1 bane, and 1 scarlet. And the way to make these cards, you got to have your 1 red eyes on the field, and you got to normal summon your gold bulb. So it's a level 7 and level 1 makes your level 8 synchro monster Scarlet Red Dragon Archfiend, and then you activate gold bulb's effect, mill the top card from your deck to the grave, special summon it back to the field, then you can go into your level 9 synchro Abyss. So Scarlet has an effect. Once per turn you can destroy as many special summon effect monsters on the field as possible with attack less or equal to this card. So any of your opponent's monsters that are special summon that's 3,000 and below gets destroyed, and for each destroyed monster your opponent takes an additional 500 damage for each destroyed monster. Abyss. During every player's turn you can target 1 face-up card your opponent controls, negate its effects until the end of the turn. It has a second effect. If it takes any life points off your opponent, you can special summon the tuner, which is the gold bulb, bring it back, and that's how you can make your Bane, your level 10 synchro monster. And Bane has an effect: tribute 1 monster, then target 1 red Archfiend, which will be your Abyss or Scarlet, from your graveyard and special summon it. And when this card inflicts battle damage, you can special summon 2 tuner monsters with the same level from your deck and 1 from your graveyard in defense position. So sorry, I'm a bit sick. Been sick for the past week. So yeah, if you want to take, you can add 2 glow bulbs if you wanted. You can just substitute Keeper of the Shrine for the Bane's effect, but it's not necessary. But yeah, that's how Synchro plays, and look at them. 3,200 for Abyss, 3,500 for Bane, and you can easily get Abyss and Bane on the field at the same time in 1 turn, and you can also easily get 2 Abyss on the field at the same time. Really strong. And once you have them and you got your Return of the Dragon Lords in the graveyard, it's really hard for your opponent to get over. Next we got our 3 rank 4s, Castell, Emerald just to mill our cards from our grave back into our deck, or to special summon our Red Eyes for its effects. And we got our Queen Dragon Digen, and you can target any level 5 higher dragon type monster from your graveyard, special summon it, but it can't attack the turn it's special summon, and its effects are negated. Next we got our rank 7s, our Mecha Phantom Beast Dracosac, and this is just for situations where you need to get rid of problematic cards that your opponent has. When this card detaches a material, you can special summon 2 tokens, and then additionally you can activate its second effect, which you can tribute 1 of the tokens and destroy 1 card on the field. Next we got 2 big eyes, our number 11s. Detach 1 material and then target 1 monster your opponent controls and take control of that monster. The only downside is that this card can't attack the turn you activate its effect, but we use this card just to get rid of, just to deal with your opponent's cards, boss cards. Your opponent's boss cards, or the, store cards like Marshmallow that can't be destroyed by battle, or any cards like that, like a Blue Eyes, Twin Burst. You can use Big Eye to deal with them. Next, this is the go-to card. If you can make it, you really want to go into it. It's our Red Eyes Flare Metal Dragon. Easy to make, and it's easy to get 2 on the field at the same time. Can't be destroyed by battle as long as it has material on it, and also as long as it got material on it, each time your opponent activates a card, which is a spell card, trap card, monster effect, your opponent takes 500 damage each time. And if you have 2 on, there'll be 1,000 for each time. So the way you can get 2 on the field is, let's say you have 1 red eyes in the grave, you already have a red eyes on the field, and you had a keeper of the shrine, or you had a black stone. You can use the conditions of those 2 cards to get the red eyes on the field. So you got 2 red eyes and 1 red eyes in the grave. Or even if you had 3 red eyes in the grave and you had 2 Return of the Dragon Lords, you can special summon the 2 red eyes, leave the 1 in the grave, XYZ into red eyes Flare Metal Dragon, then use its second effect, or not its second, its third effect I should say, and use that its other effect, which is if there's a red eyes in your graveyard, you can attach 1 material, which is a red eyes, to the grave, and then you can special summon 1 red eyes from your grave to the field. So you'd attach 1 material, which is the red eyes, summon a red eyes onto the field, and that means there's still 1 more red eyes in the grave. You can use a Return of the Dragon Lords to bring back that last red eyes in your grave, and then you can go into your second red eyes Flare Metal Dragon. And then lastly you got Odd Eyes Rebellion Dragon, which is easy to make, as you know, is just like the other ones. You can read its effects if you want, but you don't really use it. It's just here for the 3000, especially if you play a Blue Eyes. If you can make it, you want to make this card. So it's just the same attack as Blue Eyes monsters, and if they want to get over it, they're going to have to trade, or you know, go into the higher players. But you know, you got your Claw of Hermos, and you know, your Black Sword fusion monster to equip to it to beef it up. So yeah, that's pretty much the deck. I'm gonna play little clips that I got throughout my testing, and if you notice in the clips, you might see cards that are not in the final cut, but it doesn't matter. It just still shows the combos. Like one clip might have what's it called? One clip might just show a normal hot red dragon archery, but it doesn't matter. I actually switched this out for second abyss. If you see that, it doesn't really matter. It still shows the combos. This is just the final cut, but the clips I'm going to show really shortly, it just shows what this deck can do. And yeah, this is pretty much it. That's pretty much the Red Eyes deck. Just for the side, I got 3 Soul Cries, 1 Soul Charge, 2 System Downs, 3 Call of the Haunted, 2 Strikes, 2 Effect Veilers, and 2 Maxies. If you want to see more, just let me know if you want to see more of these videos. I can't promise commentary all the time, and that's just something to remember. I'm not really good at commentary, so I'm trying my best to improve it, and I will be working on getting a new mic, because the mic I've got now is pretty shit. But yeah, if you got any questions, just leave in the comments, or if you got any tips for me to help me improve my decks or help me improve my content, just let me know and I'll get back to you. So yeah, see you in the next video.